would like to talk about the Paphiopedilum exul, the Paphiopedilum species from Thailand that is endemic to that regions and is actually a quite not really new, but it's a species of Paphiopedilum that is starting to be really popular in the market. And this is the update I promised you quite a bit ago, and I'm slightly out of the promised date because I promised the next day and it came out this little guy decided to take much longer to develop. Anyway, let's start. So as I said, Paphiopedilum exul is a Paphiopedilum which is comes from Thailand and grows in the regions. It used to be thought that this orchid is a another variation of Paphiopedilum insigni, but it's not. After the gene sequencing, it came out as a totally different species. It likes warm to cold temperatures. It is known to grow in the vicinity of riverbeds, on rocks, and a very stony environment. Therefore, it likes to be wet. It is very characteristic due to its needle-like foliage, which is very hard and fleshy. It kind of resembles the Brassivolia foliage. Furthermore, depending on the region, you can find different variation of the same species. So you will have orchids which have bigger flowers, bigger petal spread, bigger dorsal petal with much thinner and wider foliage, which will be less fleshy as this one. It all depends on the region and the variation you can find. So, Paphiopedilum exul classifies as a compact to miniature type of Paphiopedilum. As you can see, the foliage isn't too long. I think the longest leaf I have is 20 centimeters in length, and the flowers itself, they are quite small. They are no more than around 4 centimeters in height, and then depending on the variation you will have, you might have around 4 to 5, or in extreme cases 6 centimeters spread on the side petals. The flowers in general, they're quite small, but you get a lot of them. It's quite common to get a Paphiopedilum exul that will have 5 or 6 blooms at once, and you will get them quite early in the year. However, I've read and I heard people saying that they get this orchid to bloom for them 3-4 times a year, depending on the development stage of the fans, because the fans have the tendency to grow at different times of the year. Therefore, they will be developing and maturing in the different time. Depending on the variation, what I've read is that the fans tend to mature in a year after or 2 years after. Some, I'm pretty sure I might be confusing now. The northern types, which are the cooler liking, tend to take more time to develop. So if you have a fan that started growing this year, it won't bloom till 2 years after. However, the warm ones will have a tendency to have flowers the next year. So it's slightly different, say, than the multi-year types or the cool growing Paphiopedilums with the mottling, because they have the tendency that if they start growing a fan, usually within 7 to 9 months they will be in bloom. However, these ones will take 12 to 14 months to fully mature. When it comes to requirement, this orchid likes moisture. It likes stony environment. So if you are putting into bark, make sure to add some perlite or magma stones or rock into the mix to increase the airflow. I'm growing this in the Lecusa pot, which is the semi-hydroponic, using the Lecusa pond. I think so far, and this is a small update, this has been a huge success for me with this pot, because this is the orchid that I had in for a year now. It's bloom, it's grown massively, and it's very happy in it because it enjoys the being constantly moist. It enjoys the stony mix and enjoys the fact that it has a special own microclimate. When it comes to the actual bloom period, it doesn't like too much fertilizing. It will take fertilizer, but it would be once in 2 months. It will grow perfectly fine without it. This little guy was ready to bloom, and I didn't fertilize it till a month ago. I did twice, so twice in a month at the beginning and after 4 weeks again. However, without it, it was growing perfectly fine, and it didn't need any additional boosts to bloom. It will bloom, take however quite long to get in flower, because this species has a tendency to develop, so you might see a flower sheath around 2, 3, 4 months before the actual spike will start developing properly. However, if you see this spike coming out, and it's going to be longer than around an inch, then from there the flower development will go quite quickly. When it comes to the environment requirements, this guy likes sun. It is said that just like Paphiopedilum exul, it likes Cattleya type sun, which is a bit uncommon because Paphiopedilums are usually quite known to like indirect light or shady conditions, except of the multiflorals like Orchid, Stone Eye, and so on, which do like more light. However, these ones prefer very bright light, sometimes even very direct summer light, and it actually helps them develop and grow better. You will see that it might be getting too much light if the leaves start turning bright yellow. Otherwise, it's going to be perfectly fine. It will thrive well in temperatures as you would find in Thailand region, so it's going to be from 18 to 25, 26 degrees. It likes high humidity, therefore if you can support it with a humidifier, and it does like good air movement, therefore it would not want to be in a small cramped space. And also, if it's in a greenhouse, make sure there's a good airflow. Don't make it in a soggy, humid air, because it's gonna start rotting. And I think that's it about care. When it comes to potting itself, make sure you put it always in a bigger pot. Don't follow the rule that Paphiopedilums need a smaller pot. No, I do not agree with that. This orchid grows very quickly if it's happy. Within a year I had 17 new growths, and it's still growing new ones. Therefore, if you pot it in a small pot, you will hinder the development of the orchid. Therefore, make sure that if the orchid is a small one, put it in a bigger pot. Even if it's a small orchid, put in a 12-13 centimeter pot, and you will notice that within a year it's going to completely fill out the pot. And that's all, my dear friends. So this was the update on the Paphiopedilum exul. Let me just give you a small close-up of the actual flower. As you can see on here, the flower does resemble Paphiopedilum exul, and that's probably what caused the confusion initially. It has a really nice amber-like colors on the side petals and on the pouch, and there's this mix between amber and green on the dorsal petal and the back petal. A lovely white and plenty of patterning. With age, when the flower is stronger and you have more sun, the flowers will be slightly more radiant in color, and the dorsal petal will open more. It all depends on the amount of light it gets. Therefore, I was really happy that for the last week we did get some time with sun, so the flower had the chance to open even more. As you can see, compared to my hand, it's quite small. It's literally the size of my thumb. But hey, it is an absolutely gorgeous flower, and it gives you a awesome show. And yeah, having a few of them, especially in the spring, is gonna create a wonderful display. So yeah guys, this was it. This was my Paphiopedilum exul. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please press a like, subscribe to my channel. If you didn't like it, press the dislike button and put in a comment below why you didn't like it, and I'll see you soon. Thank you, bye bye.